In this upper limb model, we can see our shoulder muscles, arm muscles, and forearm, and a little bit of the hand. So here we have deltoid. You can see deltoid attaches onto the clavicle, the acromion process, and the spine of the scapula. It goes down and attaches into the deltoid tuberosity. If we take off deltoid, now we can see nicely our rotator cuff muscles. So here's the spine of the scapula. Above the spine we have supraspinatus. Below we have infraspinatus here. And here we have teres minor. All three of these muscles go over and attach into the capsule of the glenohumeral joint. And they're attaching onto the they're attaching onto the greater tubercle. Underneath here, or just inferior, we have teres major, and if I hold on to it and turn it, you can see teres major here as well. Teres major it's not part of the rotator cuff, it goes to the intertubercular sulcus on the anterior side of the humerus, along with, here's a little bit of latissimus dorsi. On the anterior aspect, we can also see supraspinatus as well, the anterior rotator cuff muscle. In the arm, we have three anterior arm muscles. So here we have biceps brachii. Here's the short head of biceps brachii, which attaches onto the coracoid process. Here's the long head, which is coming from the supraglenoid tubercle. Both fibers come together and go down to the radial tuberosity and to the bicipital aponeurosis. Deep to biceps, we have brachialis, and here we can see coracobrachialis as well. All three of these muscles are supplied by the musculocutaneous nerve, which we can see here. On the posterior side of the arm, we have triceps brachii, and triceps has three heads. It has a long head, a lateral head, and here you can see the medial head here. Okay, so this one is the long head. It's coming all the way up from the scapula, and that's why you can't see the tendon here, because it's starting all the way up here. And here's the lateral head, and then here's the medial head. All of these heads come together and attach onto the olecranon process. And the other posterior arm muscle is anconeus. So here you can see anconeus right here. And often anconeus and triceps are continuous, and you can really tell that they're continuous here, especially on this particular model. Okay, in the anterior forearm we have three layers. We have a superficial layer, an intermediate layer, which we can see a little bit of, and we also have a deep layer underneath. So in the superficial layer, the majority of these muscles start on the medial epicondyle, right here. You put your palm right here. Here's the medial epicondyle of the humerus. Here we have pronator teres. This one here is flexor carpi radialis. Here we have palmaris longus, goes over top of the retinaculum here, goes into the palm of the hand. And here we have flexor carpi ulnaris. Underneath, in the intermediate layer, we can see flexor digitorum superficialis. This one, its fibers go, or its tendon goes underneath the retinaculum and goes all the way down to the middle phalanges here. You can see it splitting at its distal end. So on the underneath surface of this one, we can see flexor digitorum superficialis. And then in the deep layer, there are three muscles. We have flexor pollicis longus going towards the thumb, and flexor digitorum profundus going to the distal ends of our fingers. Underneath here would be pronator quadratus, but we can't see it on this particular model. Okay, on the posterior side, this is where we find our extensors. Here we have brachioradialis. Here we have extensor carpi radialis longus. Here's extensor carpi radialis brevis. You can see it continuing. Here's extensor digitorum going underneath this retinacula all the way down and then helping to form the extensor expansions. This little tiny one here, if we follow it, goes all the way down to the baby finger. This is extensor digiti minimi. And then here is extensor carpi ulnaris. In the deep layer, we find the outcropping muscles. You can see they're kind of cropping out from underneath. We have also supinator. So here's supinator. Here's abductor pollicis longus. Here we have extensor pollicis brevis. And here's the tendon of extensor pollicis longus. This little tiny bit here would represent extensor indicis right here. We can't see where it goes.